So I wanted to say something about my brothers and sisters. I got two sisters, one brother. They're possibly the worst human beings that I can think of. Like I talk about my father, but they're worse. They're worse. So in the sense that they've repeatedly told me that they've moved on, right? So when they say that, what they mean is they don't care for me. Not only that, in the sense that I'm not good enough. To, I'm their older brother, but they're kind of saying like you're too ugly or you're too something in a way. They talk to each other basically, and they do that. They'll talk to their uncles and aunties. They haven't moved on from anyone else. They've moved on from me. It's a strange thing to say. It's almost like they were dating me and they've broken up with me and they've left and they've moved on. Like I've heard this from my sisters. So I think what they've been doing is they've been talking about me behind my back with each other on some, and then they've created this boogeyman and they've said these kinds of things. My brother was away in Argentina for 15 years and he never contacted me, never spoke to me. He spoke to others. He literally even spoke to my sister's husband, and Sorum has a brother. Now, my brother's, it's unusual. He's a really fucking piece of shit that, is a diseased person. So he even literally came out and told me, well, I didn't talk to you because I consider you mental. And I was like, so what they're doing is, I don't know where they learned this from. Maybe their uncles and aunties. I strongly suspect it. So they're almost like the exact opposite of the hero, right? So the hero, when they care about their family or their friends and they fight to the death for them. These people are the exact opposite. So they're like, if someone in our family is not good enough, we throw them to the wolves and we dispose of them. And this kind of thinking, I'm not sure where it comes from. I strongly suspect they were influenced by uncles and aunties and grandparents from both my father and mother's side. It's such um, like it's kind of chilling. I'm chilled by this behavior, and then it's kind of even worse than that because they really rely on family. So they, so I'm a family member. They tell me to get lost. Basically, we've moved on. They even tell me that the rest of the family has moved on from me. So uncles, aunties, cousins have moved on from me. But they are strongly linked with them, and my sister hangs on to her cousin and aunties like death. My sister Mavish, she doesn't seem to have any friends. I have one sister who was kind of making it on her own, but she also was hanging on to death like one of her cousins, with one of her cousins over chatting and stuff. And then my brother literally has been living for 3 or 4 years now at uncles and aunties' houses and hanging around with his cousins. And even before that, for 5, 6 years, he's been relying on money from his sisters. Now, no one gives me anything. No brothers and sisters. They don't. They've never given me a penny. They never helped me out. They and they've told me they moved on. And same with my uncles, aunties, cousins. They don't give a shit about me. They never give me anything. They they wouldn't even let me stay at their house. They won't. So I mean, no, I think part of it is I'm darker skinned. They've created a boogeyman image. And another thing is that I'm blind. So it's almost like if you're disabled, they really want to fucking discard you, these people. It's like their ethics are so fucked up. And I don't know, I think it's they just created a boogeyman image. A lot of these people have talked about me behind my back, and they've created a fake image. It's like if I talk about my father or people on video and you see it, you think he's way worse than that. But so maybe this is my fight back. It's like when you think about my brothers and sisters, think who they actually are. They're worse than my father. I don't talk about them as much because they haven't affected me as my father has. But they're far worse human beings. These my brothers and sisters, they're fucking cowards. Like my sister hasn't. One of my sisters lives on the other side of the country. She hasn't even phoned me or her father in 5 or 6 years. I don't fucking. And she blames her life on me and her father. Now, she's not blind. Her father treated her the best out of any of his kids. She's just a piece of shit. She's, I think, the original. She reads psychology and shit, and then she's like, you're a toxic person and all this fucking thing. She doesn't have any eyesight issues. She doesn't have anything. She's just a piece of shit. Her name is Beanish. My sister Mavish is a lying, two-faced, manipulative piece of shit. Uh, she's a nasty character, but she's in front of your face, she'll act like she's not. And my brother, he's the worst. He's. I think he might be the rotten egg in it. Like he might be the person that turned, because I've seen him when he comes here. He'll start talking to my daughter, and he'll start like there's a disease in him. I strongly suspect he's a psychopath or sociopath. Like something's serious. Like he's incredibly, at the very least, he's incredibly narcissistic. Like if you just looked at his picture, it's all appearance. He's got 5 earrings in his ear. He's always doing up his hair. He's 43, and he looks like a gay porn actor, right? Like if you saw him, it's like, does he do gay porn? Like he's that. Like so, it's all like flashiness, no substance at all. Like he's complete. If you talk to him, you'll realize he's a layman. He has no expertise in anything. He bullshits. He does cell phone repairs and shit like that, which is okay. That's some expertise, but it's like by the standards of a family, he's a complete piece of shit. Like I can't think anyone dumber than him. Well, I mean there are others, but it's like he's so anyway he does this. I don't know who's the worst out of them. Actually, they're all like just bad. I think there's a history of in my family where my dad's mother was this kind of character where she had a disabled sister and she didn't treat her well, and there's a whole history of this kind of thing. And my grandfather was like, he had some hatred of mental, like he would call me boggle and then get worked up and about it. Like the hatred of mental illness, like to a severe extent. Like so there's a lot of diseased minds in my family. They're all outsiders from their village. They're all a bunch of fucking uh, shitheads, really. Like somehow they have jobs and things, but it's strange why they do. Because I don't think they should. Like, well, I don't know what I'm saying about that, but I think many people's families are fucked up, but I'm saying my one is particularly, compared to, and is a cowardly family. There's no real strong people, they're cowards. And as I've described, and I'm saying all my relatives, cousins, uncles, aunts, like they're kind of lonerish, cowardish, they're unheroic, they don't make sacrifices for anyone, um, and they kind of tend to spread out in different directions. They can't even, deal with each other. It's just like little loner wimps. That's how I describe my uncles, aunties, grandparents. Well, maybe not. Like my mother's side, lonerish, and my cousins, a whole bunch of fucking loners and wimps and pieces of shit, cowards. And my brothers and sisters, like they're literally cowards and wimps and pieces of shit, but unheroic and literally ditched me. They ditched me for being like ugly or blind or being mental or being poor. I think a lot of my uncles and aunties and stuff, they do it because I'm poor. I'm disabled, so I got poor, and then they want to say I'm a piece of shit, and then they want to ditch. Like they're really nasty to me. So it's like I don't know. Other people maybe have this.